Hi everyone, it's Kris. I am a barre and burlesque instructor from Seattle, Washington. I use she, her pronouns, and today we are working on video 3 of my Intro to Barre series with a little burlesque flavor thrown in. It is going to be all about the butt and a little lower back and hamstrings just to keep things loose. We're going to use a chair, and you can have shoes on or be barefoot like me, either one, whatever you're comfortable with. I want you to move for your body, make adjustments, and if something that I'm doing doesn't feel good to you, put your own spin on it, or find a movement that feels better in your body. So I'm going to start by taking that chair base towards me, and you could use a kitchen counter or a table or a sofa back as well. And I'm just going to take my hands down, step my feet back, and reach back. And just take a nice stretch. Think of this as kind of a chair-assisted down dog, and I'm just going to alternate bending my knees a little bit. And then if it feels good to you, keep those legs straight and just kind of wiggle your butt from side to side. And then maybe come onto your toes and heels, stretching out through your full backside of the leg. And then depending on how this feels in your body, if you're weight bearing on your wrists, I'm going to soften my knees, roll into a rounded tabletop position, and then kind of bring my weight forward into my hands and then back. And I can do this with the chair a little bit further away, so I get a bigger range of motion and even a little bit of a back stretch. Or I can keep the chair pretty close so that it's just a rock to a partial plank and back. And just do that a couple of times for me. And I want you to pay attention to how it feels in your lower back and in your spine and your hamstrings. And then I'll just a little lean and in. Maybe one more time. Good, and then drop back down to this stretch and tick-tock your butt from side to side. One more time through here. And then soften your knees for me and give me just a little teeny tiny tuck of the tailbone like you're trying to round your lower back and then arch. Kind of like a part of a cat-cow stretch. A little tiny tuck, just trying to lengthen into this lower back. And then my favorite way to loosen up some tightness in my lower back, and we'll be doing this a couple times today if it feels good to you, is to kind of drop the heels up and then drop them down and just let everything bounce a little bit and let it go. You can side to side, you can bounce forward and bounce back. All right, then bend your knees and just roll it up. All right. We're next going to do the pelvic tuck and work on that, and then we'll move into more glute specific exercises. So for our pelvic tuck, I'm going to stand to the side so you can see what I'm doing. My feet are a comfortable distance apart, a little soft knee here, and I'm going to push my hips forward and release. Push and release. As I squeeze my bum forward and I'm dropping my tailbone, I'm trying to pull my belly button towards the spine and then releasing my belly as I arch a little bit. So tuck and release. So not only am I trying to lengthen the spine by dropping down, but I'm also trying to engage my core by lifting up my pelvic floor and kind of pulling the belly button towards the spine. And then even if it helps to visualize you, like your pelvic floor lifting underneath your rib cage. Not something that I can physically make happen, but that visualization can help. A little tuck and release, tuck and release. So I'm going to turn back to the front, and we're going to play with this just a little bit here. Hold that tuck forward and then go side, back, side, tuck forward, and then side, back, side, forward. So think about drawing these circles. You're Your hands can come wherever you want them to be. And as you're drawing these circles, let it help loosen up through your back. Let your belly feel relaxed. Let your hips loosen up. Good. And circle through. Since we are here playing with the circle, we're going to learn a little half circle and tuck. Maybe like 3/4 of a circle and tuck. So circle, tuck, circle, tuck. You may notice I'm shifting weight to this leg, shifting weight to this leg, and kind of coming into a toe. That's the burlesque performer in me. You do not have to add that little lifted heel, but I do want to see that little pelvic thrust forward. Think about being in the cast of a Rocky Horror Picture Show and you're doing the time warp. And if you don't get that joke, please go watch Rocky Horror Picture Show. All right, for 3, 2, and 1. Remember, the base move for that is our tucks, release. And we will visit this often together in my classes. All right? Next, we're going to come to the chair and come into a glute called a donkey kick. It's a very lovely name. And I'm going to come into a forward fold. Hands on the chair. If it doesn't feel good on your wrists, you can find a surface that's higher up than my chair and go forearms, or you could use the back of your chair if that was more comfortable on your body. Okay, I'm gonna go with straight arms because it gives me this nice flat back, thinking about like balancing a glass of water on the butt. And I'm gonna do a little flamingo leg and point my toe. Standing knee is gonna soften. And I want you to think about your posture. So draw your shoulders, kind of pull them away from your ears, draw your belly button towards your spine to protect your lower back. And then we lift up and down. Now I'm trying to lift up with my glute, with my gluteus maximus, with my butt cheek, up and down, versus arching and rounding the back. If you're arching a little bit and it feels okay in your body, it's fine. If you're arching a little bit and you're noticing your lower back is feeling tension, then really focus on squeezing the butt and releasing. Squeeze and release. Squeeze, release. And then this next one, see if you can hold it up there. And I want you to picture a button on the ceiling and this toe is gonna try and push that button. Up, up, up. For 3, 2, and 1. Bring it down. Take those feet wide, reach it back, and give me those little ticky-tocks. You can bounce, you can go side to side, just wiggle, circle, what feels good to your body. You could take those little rounded forwards and back, like a traveling cat-cow. And then we're gonna play with how the other side feels. So I'm gonna stay here so you can see my standing leg is soft. Bring that opposite leg up. Try and point the toe if that's a possibility, or flex if that feels more comfortable to you. But choosing an active foot will help keep the muscles around your knee joints activated. Standing knee soft. Nice long spine. See if you can gaze down and keep your neck as an extension of that spine. And we press up and down. So notice if your belly is kind of dropping and your back is arching, or see if you can pretend like you're in a plank, or pretend like you're pulling up, really supporting your back. Not pretend, just, you know what I mean. Up and down. 4, 3, 2. We're gonna hold it up there on 1. Now I'm gonna try and push that button on the ceiling with my toe. Up, up, up. For 3, 2, and 1. Bring it down. So I'm gonna drop it down for that stretch, get some weight off of my wrists for a second, and take a breath. And just notice if you're starting to feel some in your bum, maybe you're feeling it more in your hamstring, and we can work on that together. Okay, I'm gonna come up nice and soft. Sometimes when your hamstrings are just the dominant muscle group and they're taking over from the bum, that happens often. So So we just need to work on stretching the hamstrings out more, loosening up the lower back, and firing up those glutes. So I've got some tricks up my sleeve on that one. Next up, we're going to do a fire hydrant. So I have a big, giant 70-pound boy dog, and we're going to essentially lift our leg like he does during certain activities. So that is why it's called the fire hydrant. It's very strange. We're gonna come into either a similar position, or maybe you just wanna take a hinge this time, or a wall position, okay? Same idea, a little hinge over is gonna lengthen the back, or you're in your flat back. I'm gonna give myself that flamingo leg again, but this time I wanna go straight out to the side and down. What I see most is that the knee wants to come forward or that the hips want to open. And all of those are fine. If that's what your body's doing, it's fine. If you want the most side seat, gluteus medius work, then you're going to try to keep your thighs lined up and take it straight out to the side and down. So if you saw it from the front, side, and down, my hips are trying to stay even. My belly button is pointing to the same place and not like moving open. And we're gonna go 3, 2, hold it out there on 1, and your standing leg might be feeling a little juicy, it might be tingling a little bit, it might be feeling a lot of work. Put more pressure into your support, and then little tiny ups. 4, 3, 2, and 1, bring that down. We're gonna do the other side. So same idea, bend, pull in through the belly button towards the spine, lengthen, and we're going side and down. Probably the question that I get asked the most in barre is, man, that standing leg, my weight-bearing leg is burning. Why do I feel that working more than my moving parts? And it's your weight-bearing leg. It's doing a lot of work for you to stay stable. All right, so that's to be expected. It will get a little less intense, but it's pretty intense. Like I feel that rather intensely right now. And then go ahead and hold that leg out. Think of my big old boy Akira peeing on a fire hydrant, essentially. And we're gonna lift up, squeeze right in through that gluteus medius into your side seat for 3, for 2, and 1, bring it down. So give yourself a little wiggle here, a little cha-cha-cha on your legs. Good. So that was the fire hydrant. You may have noticed a little tension in your lower back as we were doing either the hinged position or maybe that forward fold. And that's where, for me, that tuck comes in. So I'm gonna take my feet wide again, hands on your hips or like in your pockets, and tuck, release, tuck, release. And then maybe you draw those circles. And when you're drawing these circles, think about a little bit more focused movement than if you were just grinding it out on the dance floor. There's a purpose to that too, for sure. But just give me a couple where you're really thinking, pull the belly button in, push the hips forward, then maybe grind it out, then connect back into it, and then maybe grind it out. And that tuck. And one more. And circle it out. Good. Come on up. Let's take a little twist, just making sure the back feels good. When you first start working in barre, the lower back can feel those muscles firing up, especially if your glutes aren't doing a lot of doing the heavy lifting. So make sure you're doing back stretches with me. There's so many classes on this platform that can get into some deeper stretching as well. So really take advantage and be mindful of how that feels in your body. We're going to do one more position together here, and it's going to be a lateral lift. So I'm going to keep my chair. Hand can just be on the hip. Remember, if you need more support, use a wall, use a table where you can put a little bit more of your body weight into it. and I'm gonna take my outside leg and bring it out. Standing knee is soft, hand can be on the hip to start, and I want you to really flex this foot and keep the toe and knee pointing toward you versus opening. So belly button, hip bones, knee, toes, all pointing straight ahead, and I'm gonna lift up and down. Lift. Notice I'm going about halfway. If you need more of a rest in between, bring both feet down, up and down, or we're gonna stay here and take it 5, 4, 3, 2, hold it up on 1. Maybe take that hand to the upper side of your leg and see, do you feel anything firing up? Maybe your standing leg's doing all the burning right now, and we're just gonna pulse up 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it down, switch it over to the other side. Same exact thing here. Little tiny hinge, take that leg, standing knee is soft, flex the foot, knees, toes pointing forward, and we're lifting out and in. This might be a little more in your outer thigh, your abductor, a little bit in your side seat. You might even feel some of your obliques or your stabilizing abdominal muscles. And we're gonna go 3, 2, hold it up here on 1 for me, and just little baby pulses up for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. This was video number 3 of the Intro to Barre series. We went over some glute, some lower back, some hamstring, some burlesque grinds, lots of good stuff together. So I appreciate you moving with me. The next and final video in my intro series is going to be similar to the one we just did, but down on the floor. So we'll do some mat work for the butt, for the back, and for the hamstrings. So hope to see you back for that video. Bye.